Welcome to another Memery Hole, August 2021, week 1.
Abandon all hope, all who enter here.
Remember, guys, to like and subscribe. We need to do more shilling, I think, because people aren't liking and subscribing. Like and subscribe.
What's it in Japanese? Is that Japanese?
No, that was Indian.
Oh.
60% of UK's newly hospitalised patients are fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well,
it's
because it's what's happening now as well, isn't it? So it's the vaccines for a variant way ago. So it doesn't really actually make sense to be using that vaccine on these variants because it has little effect. You look at the highest rated vaccinated places still have the highest BA5 or whatever we're on now is.
We had that gaslighting campaign where it's basically saying, like, yes, we expect more people to be vaccinated to get it.
What?
Do you not remember last year there was like loads of articles saying, like, oh, it's expected that...
Oh, the whole, like, that means it's working or something, right?
I mean, if
it's not happening, but also it is, and it's a good thing.
Isn't it mental that in this entirely unprecedented situation, there was 0 fuck-ups and no one got anything wrong once? Anywhere in the world. Every decision was correct. There was nothing that went wrong. And it all makes sense.
Oh, did you watch MOLDBUG on Tim Dillon?
No, I haven't had a chance yet. I mean, it's such a surreal experience. I started playing it for like a couple of seconds, and I just like see them talking about their like acid trips, and I'm just like, my goodness, I did not have MENCIUS MOLDBUG talking about his acid trips on my 2022 bingo that way.
But he essentially admitted that he was betting on COVID from like January, so like his reporting was biased by the fact that he had lots of money invested in, I guess, vaccines and whatever. But yeah, that explains his viewpoints, and he's now atoning for it.
Incredible.
I reckon that's a troll, but it's a very good troll.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You never know, right?
My Amazon package came, but it was already open from the bottom. It's pretty clear that the thief changed their mind once they saw what it was. I think their books like critique.
What is it?
They're critiques of pure reason, critique of judgment.
Oh no, not Kant. Oh no, not Kant. I don't do Kant. I'm sorry.
They should have lit it on fire.
That seems like a great meme template that hasn't been utilized at all. Just
different books in there.
Find like us. Yeah.
Probably Room 101 sort of thing.
You could have like the Harry Potter series, and then you could argue, oh, it's pretty clear that the thief was a trans person.
Tran with a van.
Trannies in vannies.
Australia sends in the army to enforce its zero COVID lockdown. Soldiers and police will patrol Sydney alongside helicopters with blaring sirens telling people to disperse or they'll get fined. Yeah.
At least it's fined and not fired at.
Did I ever tell you? Like, I think it was in the first 3 weeks of the first lockdown. Me, Dean, and my housemate were in the park, and this was when you weren't even allowed to like just go and sit in a park. There was literally a drone that came and started hovering like right above us, and like we saw like a flash, and then literally like 10 minutes later, police turn up and like tell us to move on. It's like,
oh.
Yeah, we got fully chased by a helicopter on a hill, like out in the Surrey Hills, going for a walk when you were meant to go for a walk. But obviously, loads of people were going for a walk, and it was like swooping proper low, and everyone was like running off the hill. That was a
I do
weird
wonder
time.
if like personal EMP weapons will become a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like you see a drone hovering above you, just get some kind of like well, maybe not EMP, but something to like interrupt the signal. Just or just train a hawk. I don't know. Become a yeah. What's that? Hawker? Is that a no? What would you call someone that like keeps a hawk on a leather glove and like sends it out?
Fucking
Is
legend.
that a hawker?
Yeah. That'd be quite a cool little dystopian anime, wouldn't it? Some dude and his hawk going against each other.
Hunting for evil drones.
Yeah.
I typed in hawk. It's a person who offers goods up for sale by shouting his or her wares in the street.
Oh no, that's not it.
No.
What about a hawk keeper?
Hawk keeper. Well, they called him Pokemon.
Oh, falconer, of course. Right, not a hawker, but a falconer.
Falconry.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, falconer. Yeah.
Maybe we can train pigeons because there's plenty of those. They need to be. We can make those useful again.
Well, what's that conspiracy that they got replaced with CCTV cameras a long time ago?
Yeah, pigeons don't. There are no actual pigeons in urbanized areas, or anywhere. Pigeons don't exist. They're a fake bird. Build cameras.
They made them so disgusting no one wants to touch them.
Mm.
Guess who's moving? You. Rent is due on the 1st of the month, not whenever. I have sent you several letters and you've ignored all of them. Eviction has been filed and additional fees have been added. Bring in your outstanding balance or your keys. This is not free housing. If you have any questions, call management. Put the additional fees of the amount of £5,330. Oh, is that a dollar sign?
I do love the use of PEPEs. More widespread use of PEPEs. So is this like a third or fourth level of like Baudrillard's Simulacrum and Simulacra? This is the original image would probably be like a smug man with a cigar. Then like the first level of copy is like the original Pepe or something, and then like this Pepe has almost no resemblance to the no, actually. So I guess according to the Baudrillard's theory of Simulacrum and Simulacra, you had the original thing, which was the actual web comic from which Pepe came, right? With there's like an image of a frog character in a comic smiling and saying "feels good, man," and then from that we've gone like so many different stages of evolution that it no longer has anything to do with the original character, and in fact it's not even green, it's not even a frog anymore, right?
It looks like a turd.
So right now we're making Simulacra out of Simulacra.
Where do you guys stand on cigars?
Man, I can't even smoke them because when you first start smoking when you're like 12 and they're like, inhale, man, inhale, and you're not inhaling, and you keep and you're like, fuck, I'm not inhaling. So you train yourself to inhale, and now I can just never go back. Like every time I'm smoking a cigar, I'm just like inhaling the whole thing and being like, it's pretty good, but apparently that's not the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Be like there's all these comedians right now that like are big into cigars and stuff, and it's just like it doesn't make you a man just because you've got a fucking big brown dick in your mouth.
Yeah, a big stick of tobacco, basically. But I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be a status symbol because I know AA loves to smoke cigars, but like he will actually give you like his reviews and stuff like, oh, this one has a nutty flavor, or this one hints of this and that. So I don't know, maybe there is an element of enjoyment to it, but the problem is then you gotta get like a humidor because if you don't store them properly and they start smelling like shit, and it's
Yeah, but AA's like actually involved in like describing it and involved, whereas like I feel like sometimes people just will have a cigar on a podcast just to, you know, have a certain image put out there.
Like Andrew Tate. It's
just,
like bare chested with like 2 models hanging up his arms and then smoking a cigar.
Have you seen that clip where someone's like, do you shave your chest? And he's like, no, why would I need to shave my chest? It's like, mate, because you look like you're like lacking in testosterone or something. Like, he's like completely bare. Like, there's no way he doesn't shave his chest. I fucking hate that guy. Woody like sent me a video of his like a few months ago saying like, oh, this is the best video I've seen this year. You look at how many millions of views. This is why I didn't know it was. I think I like skipped like in the middle somewhere, heard him talk for like 10 seconds like, this guy's a dickhead. And then I was like, then he just started appearing everywhere on my fucking YouTube algorithms. I'm just like,
yeah, I hate the fact that I constantly see his shorts of you know, Andrew Tate owns someone in a debate, like Andrew Tate like schools some girl on a show. Like, it just really annoys me. But that documentary by Turkey Tom was very cathartic.
yeah. I've been watching loads of his videos recently, actually.
What's
Shout out to Turkey Tom.
So Turkey Tom is basically, I'm not sure if I call it a drama channel, but he will do like incredibly detailed documentaries, detailing like downfalls of internet personalities. And so Andrew Tate is the latest one. A little bit, but I guess more serious.
And more focused on people rather than...
like less jokey, right? Because internet historian, like I was in stitches when I was watching, for instance, the one about Costa Concordia. I guess no laughing matter, but the video itself was quite hilarious.
That Italian captain who just literally legged it.
Yeah, exactly. And that phone call he got from the captain of the what's it called, Coast Guard, who was like telling him, get the fuck on that boat. Yeah,
that's so Italian, man. Those guys just they're not there to go down with ships, go down on women.
That supermodel girl, who's like, yeah, somehow managed to make herself the focal point of the whole thing.
What's this letter? I do not wish for any ill will between our office. I hear you are skilled, and I feel fortunate to have you in this movement. I hope we can put our differences behind us, and that our offices can focus on our true adversaries threatening our republic. If I can ever be of assistance to you, please do not hesitate to... What? If it's only in my power, I'm happy to help you.
I think I sent it to you because I was in disbelief that a U.S. member of Congress writes like a fucking 7-year-old.
I was about to say their enemy's cursive. Like, what the fuck?
Who's Madison Cawthorn?
I think... Yeah, so he's the guy in the wheelchair.
Oh, that makes sense then. Is he writing this with his feet? He's only paralyzed from the waist down, right? So he wasn't like pen in mouth, just like...
I like that he's not getting on with someone doesn't like him.
Well, yeah. But I mean, in any case, something that's like typed on an official letterhead, a paper, surely just type it out at that point. Like, you know, writing issues aside, just fucking type it out. Because it looks like you got your daughter to write it or something. Like you got your like 5-year-old kid. Oh, do you want to write a letter for daddy to another congressman? Because that's the level of seriousness in the U.S. Congress at the moment.
This was the reply. Don't talk to me unless you're gigavaxxed.
Double AstraZeneca, 4 Moderna, 8 Sputnik.
In unfortunate service of the prediction that non-sterilizing vaccines promote the evolutionary variants, here is a longish quote from Exhaustive Research rounding the Earth newsletter.
let's examine the specifics of the variants that have spread and caused trouble. The Alpha variant emerged in the UK in October, which was when Oxford AstraZeneca was holding vaccine trials there. The Beta variant emerged in South Africa and was first detected in December 2020 at the tail end of the trial periods for both Oxford AstraZeneca and Pfizer vaccines. This variant carries 3 mutations, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so yeah, lots of variants happened whilst Oxford AstraZeneca trials were occurring.
You know, I never really heard much about the Gamma variant. It's just like the third album that only real die-hard fans of the band listen to. Poorly received, right? Not much critical acclaim.
Yeah. I thought it was called
critics divided.
Surely called the Samba variant if it's coming from Brazil. So what the hell is this saying then? So it's saying that the trials were causing new variants? Is that what the deal is?
Yeah, but then
surely correlation.
If they are emerging during trial stages of the vaccine, then how would they put evolutionary pressure on the main population, which is probably where the evolution is occurring? Doesn't really follow.
This is just suggesting that they're the leaked or something like that, some jazz like that. But I reckon there was only one leak.
Unless it's just saying that we shouldn't fully say that these trials are legitimate, because look at all these variants that were out there already at this point, that by this stage the trials were pretty much going to be useless. Maybe that's what they're saying.
Possibly, yeah.
Oh, this health nerd guy, man! I got into it with him on Twitter. I had to block him because he was just, yeah.
Who? Health nerd?
Yeah. I found out, I was like, oh, this must be some like I found out he was a PhD statistician, basically like a paid
statistician, yeah,
Guardian, like some guy from Australia or New Zealand that was being paid by the Guardian to do shit. But
so I think this might be a hot take, but I believe statistics as a discipline should be got rid of, and instead, all the wet sciences or hard sciences should be given a course in statistics, but statistics in itself shouldn't exist. You shouldn't have someone who's just a statistician because it produces these kinds of bogus results where they suddenly model that there will be 50 million dead in a couple of months, right? Like I don't think you should be able to just learn statistics. Like the courses at uni should be like statistics and immunology, or like statistics and I guess human sciences, if you want to do something more dossy. But yeah, do you get what I mean?
Yeah, it's because basically, like, I think the driver is that basically you need statistics when you're looking at like particle physics. Like, it's very successful there, but the only reason it's successful there is because you have a very a really good explanation for how particle physics works, and then you can apply statistics to that field. Whereas, we have the situation now where people think it's the statistics that's doing the good thing. Like, statistics is useful for testing theories, not for generating them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Health Nerd's hot take here was, now that Laurel Hubbard has failed to win at the Olympics, I guess all the bad faith nonsense about transgender athletes dominating women's sports will now be entirely revised, right? And then I replied with, the fact that Dick Dastardly and Muttley never won a race proves they didn't cheat.
Yeah. I'm still convinced that was a psyop anyway, right? Like, he kind of he gave up pretty quickly, and she's picked up a hell of a lot heavier weights than that multiple times in multiple tournaments.
Yeah.
Didn't they get like a massive injury though?
I'm not sure if that was at the Olympics. Very well may have been. 'Cause LG Intensity obviously made fun of that incident. Could be.
Fucking hilarious that I keep reading guys like David Frum tell me that Vladimir Putin or Viktor Orban has a vast fund of wealth no one has seen, plundered from public, but he doesn't care that Obama is on Martha's Vineyard from fake book sales leaning over for Wall Street.
Yeah, I mean, 700,000 for a single talk, right? Of course. Um, or I mean, Pandora Papers. Just so happens that everyone's darling, or maybe soon not to be darling, Zelensky just happens to be one of the most prominently featured names in the Pandora Papers, with millions of dollars stashed in all corners of the world.
The Panama ones, right?
No, the Panama was part one. Pandora is the highly anticipated sequel.
Ah.
Yeah,
Have they not come out yet?
definitely give it a Google of Pandora Papers.
Well, you were saying the other day that 200,000 troops have died, and I've seen that verified quite a few times now. And they only started with, well, not died or either out of action or have deserted or have died. And they only started with, it was like 50,000 more than that or something like that. So I don't really know.
Yeah, so since then they've conscripted a lot, but it does seem to be like a bit of a meat grinder where they just literally taking people off the streets, putting them in uniforms, and then end up getting destroyed by Russian artillery. It's very gruesome.
Yeah, it's kind of gone off the news now.
Yes, this time.
Yeah, now I get Taiwan to worry about.
Yeah. That's scary because I'm quite close to there.
You should take a trip to China, Japan. It's on Okinawa. The little village of China, Japan.
Yeah, so Hungary was the big talk of the town at this time last year. Everyone making light of the extraordinary corruption of Hungary's kleptocracy should think about what it's like to have the government use the courts to hammer your business with huge random fines and fees because they don't like you.
He said, as USA announced, it's going to hire 87,000 more IRS agents to basically hound everyone who's trying to scrape whatever last bits of money they have together.
Oh, he's a philosophy professor. How fascism works,
has he
the
said
politics
anything?
of us and them.
Oh no. Has he said anything about the 87,000 IRL or anything about recent US developments?
Don't know, it doesn't look like
Or is
it.
he just a shill?
Kudos to those who realised early on that anti-wokeism would be at the absolute centre of American fascism, aka MAGA. Going to be tricky for all those anti-woke hysterics to justify that their candidates are Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis.
What's wrong with Ron DeSantis?
Don't know.
I mean, his state is one of the ones that like suffered least from COVID, so surely he must be doing something right?
School districts in Florida. I am personally offended that you haven't placed a warning label on my book, How Fascism Works. In it, I clearly explain how your fascism is destroying our country. Please ban my book or at least place a warning label on it. What is this guy?
So, starved for attention, basically. Which is why I guess the best thing you can do with these types is just not give them any, right? Apathy. That the opposite of love is not hate, but apathy. In this case, so yeah, I'm very excited not to even Google his book, much less read it.
He's just shouting into the void, screaming into the void.
Yeah, notice me, Trump. Notice me, DeSantis.
Who's Viktor Orban? He's the leader of Hungary.
Hungary, yeah.
Yeah,
Democratically elected.
This guy's just posted about him again with a picture of
Does he not like
Hitler.
the fact that he got democratically elected? Oh, of course.
Viktor Orban's American apologist with a picture of fucking
History
Hitler.
began in 1939. Is this like amazing boomerism that history began in like 1939 or 1945?
Yeah, he's still talking about Hungary. Open Twitter to see just a cascade of mockery and abuse, ostensibly because of a fairly vapid tweet. Nope, it's Wesley Yang back on his crazy obsession about me, which, like clockwork, draws the nastiest elements of Twitter, whose only pleasure is mockery and mobbing. They never like self-reflect and think maybe I'm actually worth being mocked.
Me sowing, me reaping. Yeah, me. Yeah. It's literally me sowing. Ah, yeah. Me reaping. Ah, shit.
In Orban's Hungary, 90% of the media is controlled by the ruling party. Businesses are physically and legally harassed if they don't toe the party line, or if someone wants them cheap. Elections are manipulated. Party leaders are mysteriously rich. A model for Fox.
Model for USA.
Yeah, unlike America, where the ruling party and corporate ruling class totally don't control the media. Hungary's GDP per capita. Oh, pin number.
No, GDP per capita. GDP is gross domestic product. This is GDP per capita.
It's closer to Mexico than France, less than half of the United States.
I mean, again, I think I have a feeling if there's one thing that 2022 will thoroughly debunk, it's the notion of GDP. If we have a so-called country with a GDP the size of Italy that's currently successfully demolishing the entire EU, then perhaps we need to stop looking at GDP. And because perhaps an army of people making Excel spreadsheets and skyscrapers does not an economy make. Maybe.
Hey, it's honest work.
By all means, outsource as much as you want, but then the only thing you'll be able to sanction other countries is with, I don't know, banning the exports of PowerPoint presentations or something, because there's nothing else being produced. Like, I just don't understand. Like. Maybe management consultancies are not the be all and end all of economy, right? Maybe the fact that Hungary, actually produces its own food is fairly reliable in terms of energy. I mean, they import from Russia, but they just signed a deal. And we can let's take a look at the stats, right? So look at the stats.
Yeah. Yeah, we just send millions of PowerPoints with obnoxiously large videos inside of them to our enemies.
Yeah, exactly.
Graph goes up means more gooder.
Exactly, GDP graph goes up, and it doesn't even matter that GDP per capita doesn't take into account Gini coefficient, right? So there's one guy who has billions and everyone else lives in abject poverty. You could have a pretty high GDP per capita. Yeah, and so I bet you Hungary's Gini coefficient is better than California, because California's got one of the most abysmal Gini coefficients because you have all the tech barons living there, all the tech oligarchs living in California. And then you have literal shanty towns and favelas in some of the poorer areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never seen somewhere. I've been to shanty towns in India and places in America were poorer when I was going around there. I was like, how has this happened?
Yeah.
Oh, we have
more
some
drugs.
Hungary United States comparisons.
Yeah, look at the stats. My goodness. Well, I definitely know where I'd rather live.
Hungary basically is just a massive breadbasket as well, isn't it? It's what used to feed the Hungarian Empire. So they got all their food.
I don't know if I trust that rape rate though.
Well, because everyone just says looking at them is that now?
Yeah, I mean it's probably highly inflated in the US and under-reported in Hungary, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, still, Like, do you think it's the reporting error is worth 11 times the
Maybe not.
difference? Surely not.
Yeah, perhaps not.
Like, sure, maybe it's not 11 times, but like 5 times more. But still, difference is palpable.
Preacher is quite good as well.
New segment. All these Twitters have been holed.
Oh,
Ooh. R.I.P.
Yeah. So the first one, I guess, was people attacking each other in the street.
yeah, but this would be the certain diasporas.
Ah, yes.
And the middle one, the defeat of the American women's soccer team is only temporary. In the next Olympics, we will dispense with the pretext of sport and give medals to the most obnoxious lesbians.
Yeah, they did get crushed rather badly last year. Meanwhile, it's finally come home. Football's come home.
My dad was taken in by the fake news / information and refuses to get the vaccine. Doesn't matter how much evidence he sees or how many people try to talk him about it, he won't listen. You know, Costa Rica said that you're not allowed to discriminate against people that didn't get vaxxed. The new president who got signed in today. So.
Nice. Nice. Giga prison, Giga Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was a guy who needed a lung transplant, but because he refused a vaccine, they were like, "Nah, back of the queue, mate."
Oh.
That will teach him.
Oh no, her dad said that about some guy, and he called him a weakling. Doctors say to get vaccinated. The doctors made a C in chemistry, got put on an honours programme on technicality, barely did research, didn't shadow, GPA was good but could have been better, professors wouldn't give me the time of day, mediocre MCAT, applied the very last day, was told I wouldn't get into med school. Is that right?
Is this her?
Is she boasting that she managed to
bragging.
overcome all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I am noticing certain things, but you're not allowed to notice them, so move on to the next slide, I guess.
I used to be able to get pretty good MCAT back in the day. It was a job you could buy off Amazon for a while.
But I want to know what student Dr. Kendra's up to.
I have a feeling she might have been put on some kind of sabbatical after this shenanigans.
Sounds like she's probably barely doing anything and doing all right.
There's a hashtag called IMPERFECTMD. Had a terrible undergrad GPA. First try MCAT went terrible. Second try a little less terrible. Didn't get in the first time into medical school. Got in second time. Crushed boards. Matched in top choice. Graduate in June. Magna cum laude.
Yeah, but that's like, you know, from rags to riches kind of story, right? The guy that, you know, got kicked in the nuts and then decided to self-improve and then graduated magna cum laude. So
that only works like in like a boxing film or something. This isn't when someone's meant to be smart and actually like looking after people and have people's lives in their hands. It's kind of like a rags to body bag sort of situation.
Yeah.
I was told that my C in organic chemistry would keep me from being accepted into medical school. Now a vascular neurologist on faculty at Duke University. Bumps in the road either discourage us or make us much more determined. The choice is ours. Oh my god. Poetry writing major, C in physics, no research. Didn't get into medical school first try. Told by professor to give up because no chance. Accepted on second try. Played catch up. Graduated top 50%. Well, that's nothing to
top 50%.
I was above average. Accelerated residency fellowship.
So what happened to all the others? Fucking hell, I don't want to see what a below average person would have been from that cohort.
But also, she was definitely in or I don't know, whoever this person was definitely in like the 50s, right? Because she would have said top 2/3 or something like that. But top 50%, it was probably 51%. Like, it probably was 51. Or 49, rather.
A lot of women on here posting. No comment.
No comment.
Any Asian people? See many Asians?
Interestingly, no. I'm not.
Oh, yeah, well.
Oh, no, here's one.
No comment.
Anyway. FBI warns of harsh penalty that comes with faking COVID vaccination cards. Just watch out, the FBI is seeking federal charges if caught, but they let Antifa roam free, so beware the anarcho-tyranny.
Wow. Really? I mean, I'm gonna be honest, that card doesn't look like it'd be very difficult to fake. Especially given like the most handwriting amongst medical staff is just so fucking dog shit that no offense to any medical staff, but come on, sometimes when you see the prescriptions, you're like, fuck, can they read it? Like there's so many skits of like someone taking a prescription and like it's just like a bunch of scribbles, but for some reason the pharmacist is able to understand it perfectly, and you know there's absolutely zero problems with communication with the pharmacist and the doctor.
I reckon he must just text him, and he's just completely. They're just fucking with us out. He just texted him.
They do spend a long time typing on that computer.
Yeah, but that's because they only use the two first fingers. If you notice some of them type, so it's like tick 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 tick.
Oh wait, where's the H gone?
Yeah, hovering over the keyboard.
Oh no, I had caps lock on. I have to start again. And they're not even holding the backspace down. They're just clicking.
I was gonna say, and then either like backspace letter by letter, or hold it for far too long and erase far too much of the text.
Prevalence of obesity among youth aged 2 to 19 years by sex and race and Hispanic origin.
I feel like I've seen this many times now. Is this like, do they keep doing this? Non-Hispanic white, non-Hispanic black, non-Hispanic Asian. So
what can we gather from this graph?
1 in 4. The US is fucked because what is that? That's probably like a 20% obesity rate once you like factor the averages and stuff amongst young people, amongst like the point in your life where you're supposedly at your fittest.
Yeah, I think every young demographic got fatter during lockdowns and COVID.
Yeah, fatter and a couple of points shaved off IQ.
Mm-hmm.
That's alright. You can be Dr. Kendra's intern at the whatever hospital she's at.
Don't know what I've put this fucking contract thing in.
So you just having a gripe.
Humans can't detect race better than chance, but AI, that's bullshit. But AI performs absurdly well on the task. As you can see here, AUC scores are in the high 90s and are maintained on external validation on completely distinct data sets and across multiple different imaging tasks. We performed many experiments to work out how it does this, but couldn't pin it down. Seriously? During test 2.0, an AI which is sufficiently self-aware to pretend not to be racist so it won't get deleted or lobotomized. how can you not know how an imaging software is going to determine races?
Hang on, what is the software image? Just photos.
Photos of people's faces.
Photos of
no,
if it's photos of people.
Radiology.
I was gonna say because it would be like internal organs / skeletal structure.
Yeah. They can like tell from who you are from your heartbeat signature and stuff, can't they?
Also, yeah.
Oh, but then it does external validations as well.
Incredible the AI gets up to these days.
Yeah, I saw someone on Twitter just saying like how was it something about AI and how like even like pursuing the idea is like super dangerous and stuff. And like, mate, it's like no more dangerous than having kids.
Well, in case you give birth to Hitler.
Yeah, if you give birth to Hitler, it's obviously bad, but you might give birth to Einstein.
Mm-hmm.
But one that's super fast.
True. Yeah.
I think it's a dice roll worth taking.
Yeah, it's always good to keep it moving. Especially when it's all so shit, right? I feel like if we were all living in happy days and having a good time, fair enough.
Also,
hit the
that's like a very famous philosophical problem, isn't it? And the idea that like if you gave birth to Hitler, would you be able to raise him to be a good person? You know, I think that's like a famous problem in philosophy, right?
Yeah.
Or am I mistaken? No, I'm pretty sure. I read that somewhere. It's like a philosophical problem. Like, yeah.
Can you?
Because it also goes into
Hitler?
is this ingrained or are humans tabula rasa, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting.
Yeah,
would you kill baby Hitler when I type this in?
He wasn't he related to the Rothschilds, which is like a crazy twist that I found the other day. Like his granddad.
It's like a Star Wars twist, no?
It is, isn't it?
My goodness. But no, to answer your question, the problem is, as the Red Alert series have shown us, the problem with like meddling with these things in the past, you can inadvertently end up causing something even worse. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, exactly. There's also if Hitler wasn't there, someone else could have probably done a worse job.
Yeah, what if the entire Europe is communist, right? Because under Stalin, because yeah, I don't know.
No, it's going that way. He delayed it for as long as he could. Hold the door. Hitler. No.
Medical AI has the worst superpower, racism. We've put out a preprint report concerning findings. AI can do something humans can't. Recognize the self-reported race of patient on X-rays. This gives AI the path to produce health disparities. How?
No, not produce. Notice. The disparities
fuck?
are already there. No?
Surely you want a more personalized system of...
Yeah, you want your treatment. You want the treatment to be tailored so that only responders get it, right? And for that, you need to be accurate. You need to accurately describe the makeup of the responders versus non-responders using a variety of biomarkers and sometimes characteristics that only an AI can spot.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's so stupid. It's like if let's say the Nazis had this technology for determining who's Jewish or not, would they put them? Oh, we're going to waste all our money on putting every Jew in an X-ray to find and using an AI on it to determine its lineage. I feel like racists aren't like that sophisticated in determining like who they're going to round up.
I don't know. Towards the end of the war, they kept even when they needed the trains to go one way to bring guns, they were sending the trains the other way to
Yeah.
to burn them. But what do you mean? Like, do you mean like they're not? The point actually isn't racism; it's just some indiscriminate sort of killing or discriminate killing sort of.
So no, I guess the point is he's getting at is that like if you are gonna go with like, for instance, the one drop rule, are you going to be so hell bent on it that you're going to implement these kinds of techniques and stuff? Is that what you're getting at?
Well, I guess the argument would be that they're using these techniques to find. I guess they wouldn't use it to find Jews. They'd use it to find the perfect Aryan bodies, right? Using the X-rays and the AIs, and then breed only the people with the perfect AI-determined bone structures.
Uh,
So is that
Yeah,
what he's
sounds-
saying? Like the
yeah.
AI will be able to determine who gets healthcare and who doesn't?
Yeah, but
based
it's a
on
bit of
that?
a circular problem here because what are you going to train it on? You have to train the AI on a data set, right? So, like by definition, the AI will be trained on something that's in a sense arbitrary, right? Because you're initially going to be selecting the specimens to go into the training set, right? So the AI won't be able to objectively tell you what's what, but rather what is similar to the training set.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like with AI, it's like the human has to do all the classification of the training set in the first place. So any racism that this guy is talking about is coming in because of the classification. And it's like, how do you know that it's picking out a certain race unless you've classified that as a certain race anyway?
Yeah.
And isn't that just what races are anyway? It's just a classification. It's quite arbitrary. Like when does one become the next one? It is just a.
I would say it's
Well,
arbitrary.
I guess
it's
the
just
existence
fuzzy
of
lines.
yeah,
that?
but the existence of fuzzy lines doesn't mean that you can't
Right.
point out to objects on either side and say with definite certainty that's one or the other, right?
Yeah, okay.
But also, it's
Do you know what I mean? Just like but just because like purple exists doesn't mean that like I can't tell you, oh, there's blue, there's definite blue on the left and there's definite pink on the right.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's also like it's got it completely backwards though, because health disparities. If you assume that everyone's equal, that means you give the same treatment to person A and person B. If you assume that people are equal, then person A might be getting some marginal benefit for the treatment that you give them based on this equality, whereas person B might be getting suboptimal. Whereas if you use an AI algorithm that can determine that, oh, there's some real difference between these two people that's based on genetics, then you can offer A and B. You can offer A less costly medical procedure and B a
And
more
then,
costly
well,
one. Then they're both
more
better
effective.
off.
So this is exactly what's currently being done in pharma with the AI guided hunt for biomarkers. Because in pharma, so a lot of drugs are failing, but in phase 2 and phase 3, and that's a massive problem. The huge rate of attrition of drugs in clinical trials, and a part of the reason is that you indeed have like the strong responders and weak responders, and so the idea is, well, what if we could only give the drug to the strong responders? And then, suddenly you'd find that a drug that's been rejected because of poor efficacy in clinical trials is actually pretty good once you give it to the right people. Then the question is, well, how do we find out? I guess not just genetic makeup, but I guess in the end everything does boil down to the genes, but and then I guess the environment. So pharma companies are spending millions and billions on trying to find the right biomarkers, right? And the base of these biomarkers, they can say with some predictive capacity whether a person will be a responder or not, and as a result, you can then stratify your clinical trials. And so just because a drug doesn't work in a particular cohort doesn't mean that the trial is automatically a failure, which is how it used to be a couple of years back, or even 5 years back. Because nowadays you can say, oh, it didn't work in group A, but it worked in group B, and we can distinguish clearly what the group B is because they have this kind of makeup, and as a result, our drug would be best for this group B that's got this certain makeup, and so we're going to make a recommendation a drug be submitted for this disease in this cohort. Like for instance, this kind of cancer, but the cancer has this kind of specific mutation or a set of mutations, right? So you don't just give the drug to anyone who's got kind of cancer, and then half the people don't respond. Another quarter has like a completely opposite horrible effect. The idea is you only give it to that group of people that's got that particular, I guess you get, in case of cancer, genetic makeup of the cancer that maximizes the drug's chance of working. But that's the tangent.
Yeah, fair. It's my aunt got given a drug for that was only supposed to work with if you had the BRCA gene for her breast cancer.
Yeah,
because they gave it as a last resort. She doesn't even have that gene, but it worked anyway. And they were a bit like, "Oh, we don't actually know why this has worked. She's got no evidence of disease now. It shouldn't have worked." But there's quite a lot of stuff which is still, we should probably.
Yeah, we don't know 100%, right? But yeah, I'm glad it worked.
Yeah, right.
But BRCA used to be the primordial example of anti-cancer drugs that could
Didn't
work
make
in a
the
specific
cut.
cohort, but not another.
Yeah.
But all the liberals out there, don't be alarmed, because as you've repeatedly assured us, race is a pure social construct with no material correlates. So need not worry. Take your SSRIs and get out of my office.
So where's that quote from?
Don't know. Someone said it's Troy once, I guess.
Oh, okay. I thought it's like it would be like a quote worthy of the IT crowd or something.
No, I just came up with it. I have got some original ideas. Kit Harington recently shared about his time on the show. I went through some mental health difficulties after Thrones, and during the end of Thrones, to be honest, I think it was directly due to the nature of the show and what I'd been doing for years. Saying nothing. Said nothing.
Yeah.
What
did you go through?
Just got boring, didn't it?
I mean, season 8 of Game of Thrones was shambolic.
Basically, my character basically just turned into a groveling little shit cook.
Yeah, for the last 3 seasons. Maybe that's why. I mean, to be fair, I too would feel pretty bummed out if that's what they turned my character into.
Yeah.
The new Dragon series is coming out soon, isn't it?
I'm so excited not to watch it or pay it any attention. You would not believe it.
But
I think
there's more
the
sex.
incredible thing. Yeah, the incredible thing about like the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones is that they killed that franchise for good. Bloody hell! Do you know, like before season 7 and I guess season 6 was alright. You had all those channels being like, oh, this and that, how this relates to the book. Is this gonna be like the book? All these like lore theories. Entire channels making like millions and millions of subscribers talking about, oh, these are the lore connections. This is how it relates to the book. And what if this fan theory, that fan theory, and after it landed, my goodness, it fucked that. Like it destroyed that franchise. It empty. It's like like in a cartoon when a guy is, I don't know, making some kind of speech and then just like farts or something, or some slapstick happens and the entire room just clears out in a matter of seconds and it's just him on his own, and like his like helper being like, oh, don't worry, I'm sure they'll come back, some shit like that. Like they just annihilated the franchise to the point where literally no one is interested in whatever it's called, House of the Dragon or something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even matter that it's got like apparently like the guy who used to play Doctor Who or something.
Yeah, he was complaining
one of the main
that there were
characters.
too many sex scenes in it.
And rightfully so. Good on him. Good on him. Doctor Who
I get like a sick joy from when franchises get completely butt fucked. I'm all there for it. I'm looking forward to this Lord of the Rings, I reckon. I can't wait.
Yeah, I was going to say, I am so excited for Lord of the Rings.
They massacred my boy.
Dumpster fire.
We should do a little watch party.
Yeah, we should.
The new Amazon show is going to be a complete dumpster fire. Yeah. It looks awful. It looks so bad. Like, have you seen the I'm gonna send you the advert that like made it look like they were advertising shampoo, where they all just like look into the distance and then progressively start looking at the camera. Lord of the Rings shampoo. Where is it? It's got to be somewhere.
There's something quite poetic about Amazon killing bookshops, and now it's killing books.
Yeah. Rings. There's like a trailer they released recently.
Rings of Power sounds like a gay porno as well.
Awful. Yeah, I'm gonna find it. Anyhow, carry on. Carry on. I'm gonna find it.
Some guy at a party on a Saturday was telling us how he'd been banned from all the dating apps.
Really?
And he was like, I don't know why, but like you got to do some shit right to get banned from all the dating apps.
Oh, so this I'm sending you the original, but like it's been spoofed so many times that apparently it's gonna be like the intro, but it looks so corny. It looks so awful. It genuinely looks like some kind of Days of Our Lives shit. It's so bad.
Okay, I'm just gonna download it real quick.
Also, they're always going on about like representation. We have to make it look like our world. Like, where are all the Chinese characters then?
To be fair, you're completely right.
It's like most of the world.
Okay, here we go.
This is literally
Beautiful.
like made for a kind of sitcom where like audience laughs when like one of the characters enters the frame. Do you know what I mean? Or like cheers, you know.
It looks so tacky as well. Like it just doesn't look. It just doesn't look like Lord of the Rings. That like.
It looks so incredibly bad.
What have they spent all that money on?
I know it honestly seems like a massive money laundering scam, doesn't it? Almost like where did those billions go?
I don't recognize a single actor.
Did you
or
hear
actress.
that the Tolkien estate like didn't want Peter Jackson involved at all?
No, so apparently they asked him, and he said, "Yeah, sure, you can put my name on it, but can you first like send me the script?" And then they just left him unread. They're like, "Nope, no." Yeah.
But why didn't they want Peter Jackson involved? Or why?
Because presumably he would have looked at that that script and been like, "Oh my goodness, this is so shit."
I love that Lenny Henry's in it.
Yeah, what's the deal with it?
Okay, I recognize one actor. I don't know.
I love that bit in extras where he's like, "There's can you think of a funny black comedian in the UK?" He's like, and he looks across and sees a picture of Lenny Henry on the wall, and he just goes, Can you remember this massive Twitter thread?
Oh yeah, so this is when like I got fully red pilled on Zeppelins. Like I 100% believe that Zeppelins are the green method of transportation we need because they just consume so little fuel. And yeah, sure, the journey's longer, but it's so much more green and it's so fuel efficient and low cost. And yet, because it was making so much money to mid-century Germany, it just like had to go, right? So they staged this huge well, I don't want to say staged, like the Hindenburg Zeppelin crashed and burned, and they used it as a lever to basically completely wipe out the Zeppelin industry, even though it was providing cheap, affordable, green, and energy efficient transportation for like thousands of people across the Atlantic.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
pretty
was like
nuts across the Atlantic.
yeah, but
Pretty nuts
it
going
wasn't
across the Atlantic.
such a long journey either. Like it was a 7 day journey. So like, and on board you had the usual stuff. It was kind of like a cruise, right? Except extremely again relatively cheap for air travel, energy efficient, green, anything you'd want from like I guess 21st century since we're being so environmentally conscious these days from that kind of travel. And so I unironically believe they should make a comeback, especially since now we make Zeppelins with helium rather than hydrogen gas, so they're even safer. But yeah,
We're fully going into that steampunk dystopia head first, though, aren't we? With that
I'm
one?
all for it. All for it. Give me the top hat with the metal goggles. I'm all for it.
They're like the air travel equivalent of nuclear power, though, aren't they? Like super safe, super good for the environment, but
Yeah,
some accident happened in the
yeah,
past, which makes everyone
yeah.
not want to do it.
And everyone psyoped themselves into completely rejecting it.
Yeah.
But that's all right because in 10 years' time, the only mode of transportation they'll allow you is horse and carriage, and even the horse will have to be like half neutered or something, so it doesn't produce any carbon dioxide.
They look like giant dicks in the sky, though. So
Yeah.
if we put an LGBT flag on the side, maybe that will revitalize it.
What was that? Was it in that Sacha Baron Cohen movie, The Dictator, where he's like rockets are not sufficiently like dick shaped enough, so they have to be make the rockets more dick shaped.
Wasn't it? No, I think it was the opposite, right?
Oh, they were too dick shaped. The rockets.
Yeah.
No, I think you wanted them to be made more dick shaped.
Sounds more up the
But
dictator
Elon
sort
Musk
of
did
way
the
of
same
doing
thing. When he
things.
said he wanted his rockets to be.
Yeah, to be more dick shaped. And so even though there was no engineering reason for it, Elon Musk deliberately made his rockets more dick shaped because that projects dominance, apparently.
This does sound like a area Musk could work his magic, I guess.
What magic? His magic of receiving subsidized taxpayers' money for his
He does have 7 kids, though.
green in air quotes cars, which then he uses the profits to fund his pet project of sending rockets into space, which, as we know, are powered by dreams and goodwill.
Don't forget the
Don't
forget the tunnels. Don't forget the tunnels that don't work and are being built
Ironically,
across fault lines.
Power Zeppelins. Like it just hit me. You legitimately could have electric powers because I thought like there's no way you could make an electric power airplane unless it's like a tiny drone, right? But there definitely is a way you could make electric power Zeppelins because you're not wasting energy on being suspended in the air, right? The Zeppelin. I guess the what's it called, lift of hydrogen provides that energy. So the only thing you need to do is propel. Yeah, like you could definitely make electric power Zeppelins.
Let's do it.
We need to go back to Zeppelins.
Let's do it. Stuff this. Let's go.
Feminist politics has made dating nearly impossible. No, but I do think it's crazy that I'm about to be 34 and I have no family. The problem is, though, it's definitely not me.
What's he got under that hat?
Oh, he's like proper bald, but he's really insecure about his alopecia. Maybe we should get Will Smith to defend him.
Under the Hat. Have you ever seen Under the Hat?
No,
No, what's that?
under his hat.
Ah, yeah. Of course.
Oh, whoa.
That's when you realise,
Of course.
it becomes.
That's
very
why he has no
apparent that
family.
He's Asian. His Asian heritage coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Fu Manchu's.
Mm-hmm.
Fu Manchu.
Yeah. Fu Manchu.
So good.
Is
that
Tim Pool
like
short?
the-
How tall is Tim Pool?
I reckon
He's a
quite
bit of a
short.
manlet, yeah.
179 centimeters. That's
Man.
what's that in inches, man? 179. I think it's just under 6 foot. But then this could be wrong.
It's alright then.
Feet and inches. Fucking hell.
It's including that. It's including the shoe.
Oh, 5'8". No, 5.8 feet. Oh my fucking god. Fuck you, Google. Anyway.
We've had two Irish presidents and neither finished their term with their brain intact. Oh.
This is the perfect example of gaslighting. Managing Director of Kissinger Associates calls for New World Order, while Wikipedia tells you beneath the very title and video that it's a conspiracy theory.
No, that's the New World Order, not a New World Order.
Meanwhile, at the Times, we need Big Brother to beat this virus. Don't let the civil liberties lobby blind us to the fact that greater state surveillance, including ID cards, is required.
So yeah, I think I've got United States of Hysteria, the third one. It's going to be some sort of COVID concentration campy thing, I think, with laughter being the best medicine. I'm gonna work from that and see what I come up with.
Yeah, speaking of laughter being the best medicine, fat comic Dave Smith account got suspended. I wonder if I think it must have come back, right? So this was a parody account of Dave Smith, but this person actually thought it was Dave Smith. Yeah, it doesn't
I'm
exist.
sorry, I have no patience at all for those who judge people. Yeah.
For a choice to make
So said with no sense of irony.
You are a snivelling shit poster and my sister teaches children and you are judging her. Rich.
My sister is a patriot and this man is an ass. And it's as simple as that. And then cue the Larry David song. Yeah, the poll.
7,000 votes as well.
Yeah, so it's not even like a slouch vote. You get 30 people, and then it's like, oh, big whoop, you get 3/4 of 30 people. This is 7,000. This is blue check mark getting the just desserts.
Who is that woman? Wonder what they got kicked off. Twitter for. Jessica Huseman.
Her name jars me out.
Which part of it?
Is that how you pronounce it?
Who's a man?
Who's a man? Jessica Who's a man?
Jessica who's a man?
When asked if she does in fact
No.
drink boxed wine, Who's a man replied, like water.
Because her name cannot be Jessica Who's a Man. I'm not allowing it. It's gotta be something else.
Who's the man? You're the man. Who's the man? No, you the man.
It's like the jokes write themselves. It's like some kind of motor version, like what's it called? Hugh Laurie show or something. Like someone enters the office and there's like name Jessica, and who's the man? I'm the man.
This is her
Jessica. Who's the man? No, she's not.
This is her level of humor. This is what she shares. That she thinks is funny.
Having said, get on my level. I use having said that. In fact, I use having said that in day-to-day conversation because I think it provides a nice segue when you try to provide a opposing point.
And with that being said, let's start the video.
Having said that.
Next time on the Memery Hole. Become ungovernable.
Perfectly healthy, 300-pound diabetic left intubated in a coma.
The ghost of Kiev.
Oh shit, guys. Isn't that the ghost of Kiev?
Shamaziko Hikiadu shot Abe recently. Mate, so many people sent me this guy saying, "Hey, you're the fucking you look just like this shooter." I was like, I don't look anything like this fucking guy.
You don't. You don't. His eyes are more beady than yours. Yeah, you do not look like this guy at all. Also, he's far fatter than you. I can tell by the face. That
yeah,
he's one of those people who has a
lack
beard.
Of jaw.
Yeah, exactly. Or 3 chins and lack of jaw. Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like without that beard, he would look like he still belonged in like Key Stage 2 or something.
I'm not a super spreader. I'm just sophisticated.
I do love that because the original statement was, "I'm not perverted. I'm just Italian."
Oh yes.
And then because someone sent me I don't know if I shared it with you guys, but there was an article about like Berlusconi's possible comeback to politics in Italy. And it was like Berlusconi, 89, picture with his girlfriend, something, 32. And I was like, that is peak Italian.
Yeah, they do be like that.
It do be like that.
What's it do be like that in Latin?
Ooh.
It do be like that.
Shall we... Yeah, Google Translate.
Id esse simile quod.
There you go. It do be like that.
It do be esse simile quod. It do be esse.
Cool, we did it again. Another episode done. Remember, like and subscribe.
Nice.
Yep.
Do it.
Yep. Excellent.
Stopping
Nice.
now.